Well, it's that time of the week again, time to look back at the Derby action. We're after seeing the first 8 round heats of the second round of the Boylesports Irish Derby, and for the last time we were racing on a Friday night during this year's Derby. Kevin, some fantastic displays, and I know you were particularly happy with your own JT Taylor.
Yeah, very much so. Look, you'd have to be impressed. Started well, bit of trouble at the bend, just losing his back legs, but once he got round the bend in front, he was never in doubt really. In 29.42, it's a good run and he's getting better. It's not the fastest of the night, but I think he may have lost that just on the corner. But look, he's a dog going in the right direction, and we've gone now JT Taylor 8-1 outright favourite.
Well, it all kicked off just at 8 o'clock. The opening heat tonight, going to Burgess Superior. I didn't think he'd have the early speed to turn where he did. He did have the early speed to turn, very close indeed, behind Nice Charm. But once doing so, like, this dog has a big future over further. It was only a 7th start tonight, but you saw that power was very evident in the latter stages. Came through to win in 29.52. A fine display by Burgess Superior. I know he'll be severely tested going on by the better Greyhounds, but tonight was his night and a fine run.
Yeah, very much so. I had to check the clock twice. 29.52, a brilliant run. Only a 7th race, very young dog. I think this one was well supported or well owned in the stands. I watched this race from the stands, and the roars that went up as soon as he started, and the followers knew going down the back that he was going to come home strongly. The writing was on the wall going down the back. Very, very impressive. Can he keep starting that way? That'll be the question. But a pup having his 7th race, 29.52, he's definitely going to be on many people's lips going forward. Nice
Charm. I know a few shrewd people were fancying his chances. They would have liked what they saw in the opening yards, but unfortunately it was sort of quickly evident that he had the wrong one in behind him. And Parlo Sanka running a big race again. This was a graded runner 3 or 4 weeks ago here at Shelbourne Park. He's running out of his skin, and he grimly held on for third spot, and he's into the third round draw in the Derby.
Yeah, and look, he'd be over the moon for Liam O'Rourke. I'm sure they're delighted, and Debbie, they're parading him as well. So yeah, look, brilliant to see the connections in the next round. They'll be up against it, but I'm sure they'll wear that tag with pride. Nice Charmer, as you said, out in front, but the writing was on the wall hitting the third bend, wasn't it?
Yeah. Incidentally, the owners of Parlo Sanka had a great run a couple of years back with Abby Carla. I remember she was a similar type performer. Now on to the second heat, and tonight this marked the start of the Graham Holland sort of dominance. Clonbrine Prince was the winner, but going into the corner it looked like his more fancied kennel companion Lenson Blinder was going to land the spoils, but he edged off the corner. Strange manoeuvre, moved off, allowed Clonbrine Prince up his inside. Once he got to the front, Clonbrine Prince into the back straight. He was going to be very hard to beat. As it was, Jumeirah Charm came through for second. Lenson Blinder safely through. He's only beaten 2.5 lengths in 29.39, but a good run by Clonbrine Prince, but a strange run by Lenson Blinder.
Yeah, you'd imagine there's a little bit more in Clonbrine Prince because it wasn't fluent at the bend. I'm not really sure why Lenson Blinder made that manoeuvre. He just slightly eased on the corner. I'm sure he'll run the bends much better and much sweeter in the future. He has done in the past. It was just a strange one really, but with that early pace, if he runs the bends much sweeter, we know how good he is. He's going to take an awful lot of beating. If he keeps getting the inside draws, he's a very good dog. Clonbrine Prince, in fairness, turned into the back straight level and beat Blinder for me for pace down the back. I was very impressed with the way Clonbrine Prince ran the back straight and came home. Very impressive. And Jerry Holding's bitch, Jumeirah Charm, what a performance she put in. If she'd have got through with the third bend, I don't think she'd have won. I don't think she would have got there, but she ran the two of them down into the third bend, gaining on them. What a performance from a bitch behind two very, very good performers going on the back.
Indeed, a very good display by Clonbrine Prince. But Lenson Blinder was probably the story of the race. He had it at his mercy and just let Clonbrine back into the race. Now on to Heat 3, and once again Graham Holland, and this time perhaps one of the easiest winners he'll ever have. Toto's Park hit the lids. Ballyhale Blaze cut inwards, unfortunately did himself damage in doing so, and 5 and 6 clashed, and all of a sudden Toto's Park was left 3-4 lengths clear into the corner. Clear. He showed great early speed in fairness. By the second bend, 5 lengths clear. By halfway, about 8 lengths clear, and he cruised home an 8 length winner in 29.34, fastest run of the Derby. He's a dog that has improved out of sight in the last few weeks, and currently he's deserving of a lofty enough position in the betting.
Yeah, he will if he keeps starting like that. That was a real pinger of a break. At 197 recently here, 344. I'd imagine he beat 344 section tonight. It appeared that visually. Yeah, you called him a winner at the second bend, I think, in your commentary. You knew it was game over there. He was very, very impressive. Another one that the clock sort of surprised me. I know he's improving. 29.34 is a savage run. Another one that sort of just caught me off guard. I didn't think there was that calibre of a run, and definitely one we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Uncut Diamond and Natural Wonder, they were behind the black ball, so to speak, early on, but they ran well to qualify as well.
Yeah, without doing Toto's Parking injustice, when I saw the 29.34, I said to myself, wow, something will do 29.20 tonight. Yeah. But as it happens, a few good dogs got loose and nothing could match that run. It was a serious run, and if you actually take it just black and white as for what it is, he's certainly deserving of a top billing tonight. Moving on, the next heat, Heat 4, and this time it was Packing Heat, a dog that I've followed down a couple of rabbit holes in recent weeks here at Dublin. Hadn't produced his best Tralee form. I unfortunately didn't go with him tonight, and he duly popped out in front and made every inch of the running. Once he hit the front, it was going to be very hard to pass him. In fairness to Doggy McDogface, big engine, he did chase him hard down the far side, but Packing Heat gets every yard of the 550, and he duly obliged in 29.47. A good run by Packing Heat.
Yeah, I think he won his first 7 on the bounce, didn't he? He won the Lee Strand as well. He hadn't run the bends well here, but he really ran the bends much better tonight. Stark improvement there. I think Connections will be over the moon. When he starts and leads like that, you're not going to beat him. We ran against him in the Lee Strand down in Tralee, and he's very, very strong. Tough dog when he getting in front. He won his first 7. He'd been out of sorts, like you said. You were the monkey on his back, you backed him in his last few starts. He comes back, you don't back him, and he wins again. So I think we know the common denominator there. Doggy McDogface ran brilliant. Didn't ping it as well as he did last week, but stuck to the task gallantly in 29.47. If he was on the bunny, we know that sort of run is in him as well, no doubt about that. And Macaroon Cruz was last at the second bend, ran well to qualify. There was a lot of bumping there at the third bend, and he was just too tough for the rest. Yeah,
another one for Graham Holland going through there, Macaroon Cruz. But Doggy McDogface, some like the name, some don't like the name. I don't know where I stand. I think I like the name, Doggy McDogface. Anyway, 29.47 from Packing Heat, a fine display by him. On now to Heat 5. And Heat 5 was where we saw Clona Blaze emerge. A good winner. Rocky Bay Foley did show a little more spark than last week, although once again he just doesn't carry the momentum around the first and second bends that he would have in Cork, shall we say. It allowed Clona Blaze up his outside, and once Clona Blaze got a sight of the lead, he wasn't going to be denied. He cut off the other dog at the third bend and went on to score. I suppose the real story here was the disappointing effort from Cassius King. He did charge the traps badly, and perhaps he did run with a bit stunned. Maybe he was seeing birds down the back straight, but the spark wasn't there from Cassius King. But you can't take it away from Clona Blaze, leading home a 1-2 for Graham Holland, drive on tip, actually running out Rocky Bay Foley for second in the finish, and the winning time 29.55.
Yeah, much better performance from Rocky Bay Foley. He ran the bends better. He's not the same dog as he is in Cork. Unfortunately, I don't think. I hope Kieran proves me wrong. I say that with the best of intentions. I'm not knocking the dog whatsoever. He's one of my favourite dogs in training. He's just not as fluent here as he is in Cork. He's getting better, but the spark is just even down the back. I think the Rocky Bay Foley from Cork still goes down the back straight much better in Cork than he does even here. He's not flying on the bends. He will get better again. I thought this dog could win a derby. I really did. He's a superstar below in Cork. He is absolutely everything. Just for some reason, it's like he just doesn't take to it here as well. But look, it just goes to show the calibre dog he is. He's still in the competition. He's still doing decent times, and he's not running the track. Clona Blaze done everything it was needed to do to win the race. Another good time, another winner for Graham Holland, another 1-2, drive on tip. What can you say? What a servant he's been. Brilliant draw again tonight. I actually thought drive on tip might win the race tonight, because I thought 2 might go up and run off, but 2 didn't as much as he normally did. But a gallant servant in drive on tip. Well done to Clona Blaze winning the race, and fingers crossed Rocky Bay can find a bit more improvement again, because he'll need it.
Yeah, indeed. Graham Holland with the 1-2, but perhaps both aren't even in his top 5 Derby contenders, which says it all. Moving on to Heat 6, and here we saw Slippy Keane, perhaps Graham Holland's best chance of a Derby success, although I was left puzzled by the time. I thought the times in the night were very fast. I thought Slippy Keane did everything right. I thought Ballymacbulger ran very well in second, but then time came up, 29.66. I thought it was going to be considerably faster. In the end, it was the slowest time of the heats tonight, which was remarkable.
The one thing I will say, and I know it's sort of contradictory, because Taylor done 29.42 later, losing probably a length of the bend, getting his legs dropped down, but it was much warmer earlier. It was much warmer earlier. It did get cold. It got very cold. I went and got extra covers out of van to put on our own owners under the covers they give us over here. That does affect it. It's like anything. If you see it in athletics, in the warmer weather, in the better conditions, they will post faster times. I'm not saying that that's a 20-30 spot difference, because the runs later on were better again. It was quite surprising, but look, I don't think Connections care. You get across the line, you get your name in the hat next week, and you move on. Times are for show. Just keep your name in the hat. Keep doing what you're doing, and Slippy Keane is going to be up there with every single one of them. I wouldn't be going off laying him at fancy prices because of the clock there. It was one of the heats of the night. He's done everything right. He's won it. It was sad to see Barnagin going. Ballymacbulger for Liam Dowling. we said it last week, he's getting better, and Shane even winked again tonight, he likes him and he's getting better, he's improving. I think he's going to be a different dog as we go along. Don't be surprised to see him going a couple more. And Martin Lanny's Jelly Flood, I was thrilled to see him qualify just in the last try, getting up for Martin. It's brilliant to see him with one. More known for his sprinters, this lad is a different style of running, so Martin showing his durability there. He's well known for sprinters, this lad more of a stayer, but you won't want to see Jelly Flood turning too close to you. But Slippy Clean, clock is a little bit disappointing, but I wouldn't be laying him at bigger prices. He's a very good dog. Yeah,
certainly no surprise if he went 3 or 4 lengths faster next week. Borna Gin just wasn't himself. There's no question that's just not Borna Gin's running. Moving on, Heat 7, and here we saw Beaming Paradise, another winner for Graham Holland. He flew from trap 4. I think the real story of this race, apart from Beaming Paradise doing everything right out front, was the ground that Crossfield Will made up. He walked out, he made up 3 or 4 lengths into the corner, down the back straight, the challenge at the third bend, and in the end he fades out of it. He's beaten 6-7 lengths, I'm not sure, back into third spot. He showed amazing pace, but he didn't start or stay, which is a concern, but we know he can go up a bit faster. But Beaming Paradise is a real consistent tracker, a real strong runner, and did everything right. 29.53.
Yeah, look, Crossfield Will is only coming back, getting used to himself coming back from Toaster. We knew after last week he's a long way off. I fancied him last week to win. He didn't start. He just didn't get into things. He showed the ability we all know he has. He's a very, very, very fast dog. Just things didn't work out. Skywalker Logan stayed on well again. Lacks a yard to the bend for me. I just think against the better ones, I just think he might just get caught for toe to halfway. From halfway, he's as fast as anything, but to halfway might be his Achilles heel. But Beaming Paradise absolutely exploded from the boxes. Like you said, came out like a rocket. It was game over after 20 strides in this one.
Yeah, Skywalker Logan again. Yeah. We can't wait to see him over 600 yards or further. Moving on, the final heat of tonight, a dog called JT Taylor. I know you think a lot of him. Without taking anything away from JT Taylor, I think the story of the race was Drewby's Verve's absence, or sorry, not absence, but his elimination. Last week, 3 dogs or 4 dogs got loosed after the race. Verve Kashinkuba, who was actually taken out of the opening or this second round of the Derby because he was found to be dehydrated, basically just too tired. Frisky Luck also got loose, and he didn't produce his running earlier on, and perhaps that was a factor in Drewby's Verve tonight. The spark wasn't there. He came away reasonably well, but when Ibra and Ballymark Arminta, all credit to them, but they shouldn't really be up his inside off the start that Drewby's Verve made. The spark wasn't there, and unfortunately he went out. Listen, JT Taylor was a very impressive winner, and he's deserving of his lofted position now in the betting, and he's a greyhound that's going places, as you said, in the cooler conditions. Did a fantastic run despite losing a little bit of ground on the bend, but Drewby's Verve just wasn't himself.
No, I think that's a fair assessment of everything, really. Verve started well from the boxes. You'd expect him to go, you really would. I was hoping all week that himself and Taylor would start, and that we would see a really good buckle. I think they're 2 superstars of dogs, 2 young dogs, and I'm sure they'll be back here this time next year again. Don't take anything away from them. Yeah, last week I noticed it. I'll put it this way, I was at the escape very quickly tonight to pull across that mat because Verve led the charge last week. They done a second lap. When you see Cash and Cuba pulled out, and the reasoning behind it, Chris Houlihan given, is that the dog couldn't get off a bench. Well, Verve was side by side with him. He obviously came out, took that extra lap a bit better, but it had to have an effect. It had to. He's run 1,000 yards less than a week ago, and to compete at this level, you need absolutely everything in your favour. That was unfortunate. He started well. They got up his inside. Taylor pulled a half length, 3 parts of length out of him to the corner, which I don't think if Verve pinged it and Taylor pinged it, I don't think there'd be much in it at the corner. I don't think Taylor would pull a length out of him, and that's been as honest as I can be. I don't think there's that much early in Taylor. He's as good as Verve to the bend, but to pull a length out of a dog that when we saw in Toaster, when we saw him here last week, when he hits the ground, he just goes. He's explosive. He's blistering to the corner. It wasn't his running. He took a bump, and it was unfortunate that he went out. We were all sad to see him leave. We know that. It was a brilliant pull for the Derby itself, with the English connection, the hype that surrounds him. And don't get me wrong, I credit the connections, Jimmy Wright and Angela, for bringing him over here, having a go. It hasn't worked out, but I'm take nothing away from the dog. He's still an absolute superstar. Yeah, indeed. Great credit goes to Angela Harrison and Jimmy Wright for bringing the dog over. Yeah. Unfortunately, he wasn't meant to be this year, but JT Taylor, new Derby favourite. He is a hell of a dog, and you keep telling me we haven't got to the bottom of this fellow yet. No, and I'm not expecting him to find another leg or improve 60 spots, but he's a young dog that he's only had a handful of races. This is only his, I think that was tonight was his 3rd ever look at Shelbourne Park. He's changed of seeding. He's only ran from the wide, I think, 3 times now. It looks like he's running it all his life, but he's only running from the outside a handful of times. He's getting better. He came back from Toaster. Things weren't 100%. We've ironed them out, and he is form-wise, his coat, his conditioning, his fitness, everything is there that he should improve. It doesn't always happen, but it's a fair mark to be looking to improve from. But look, it's only the second round. He's into the third round. He's now gone 8-1 favoured. If he starts the way he's been starting, and if he gets a clear run, it will take a good one to beat him.
Yeah, in all that was happening, it was easy to forget that Troopies Denny ran an aeroplane in second spot. He has some pace down the back straight. Anyway, that's it. We've seen the first 8 heats of the second round of the Boylesports Derby. There's more to come on Saturday night. You're probably watching this after Saturday night's action. By then, we'll know our final 48 dogs. The draw will take place on Saturday night, and that's all going to continue next Saturday here at Shelbourne Park. Join us for more brilliant action in this year's Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby.